Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Medcast KSMA. Today we have got a guest with us who have got a bunch of experience in pharmaceutical technology, a guest who has a bunch of international experience. We have a guest from Switzerland, Dr. Jörg Huwyler. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much for the kind introduction and the invitation to join you here at the university.
It's our pleasure to be hosting you on our sets. So first of all, can you please briefly introduce yourself, your journey, etc.?
Yeah, my name is Jörg Huwyler. I'm full professor of pharmaceutical technology. I'm working at the University of Basel in Switzerland. Switzerland is a small country in the center of Europe, and Basel is a city which is located in the north of Switzerland, next to the border of France and of Germany. Originally, I have studied biochemistry at the University of Basel. I did a PhD in pharmacology and toxicology, and then I worked for several years as a postgraduate researcher in Switzerland and in other countries for almost 2 years in the United States in Los Angeles.
All right. So, first of all, what basically inspired you to choose the field of pharmaceutical research?
I'm very much interested in translational research. That means if we develop new drugs or if we make research on new drug active compounds, it's always my wish and vision to bring these new compounds to the human, to the patient, to transform them to drugs and to make them available to cure diseases. So this is translational research, the transition from basic research to application in the hospital, for example, or for the benefit of patients.
Yeah, so you worked in two different worlds, pharmaceutical industry and academia at the same time. So, by your experience, how do you define and how can you compare between these two different worlds?
Yeah, right. When I came back from the United States, I joined the pharmaceutical industry in Basel, the company Hoffmann La Roche. Basel is a very important and perhaps the most important center for the pharmaceutical industry in Europe. In Basel, we have more than 700 companies, smaller or bigger ones, in the field of pharmacy and pharmaceutical production. These are small startup companies, biotech companies, and also some very known and big companies such as Roche, Novartis, Lonza, Syngenta, etc., etc. And I have joined industry, and after several years, almost 8 years, I've decided to go back to academia.
All right.
I think this, for me personally, this link between industry and academia is very rewarding and very interesting. I told you that I'm interested in translational research.
Yeah.
That means in industry, we would like to develop new drugs, new drug products. We would like to produce them and we would like to bring them to the patient. And in academia, we are focusing on basic research. We would like to develop and discover new principles on how diseases can be cured. And for me, it's very fascinating to see this transition from basic research to the application and the industry world.
Yeah. So, while looking at your research, I have seen that you researched on drug delivery and the blood-brain barrier. So, can you please explain the significance of these two factors?
Yeah. I'm very much interested as pharmacist in the distribution of drugs within our body. So if you give an active compound which can act on cells, for example, or organs in our body to a patient, he has to take this medication, perhaps he swallows it or you have to infuse it. And as soon as this drug has reached the circulation, it distributes throughout the body. And there's a big problem in that this distribution in the body can be very different. It's not homogeneous. And for example, many drugs or many compounds cannot penetrate into the brain.
Yeah.
So they stay in the blood circulation. They cannot be taken up into the brain because the brain is a very sensitive organ. It's well protected, and there are mechanisms which prevent drugs to penetrate into the brain. Now, this is a very big problem when it comes to the treatment of diseases of the central nervous system.
Yeah.
Because you have very interesting compounds, you would like to give them to the patient,
Yeah.
but they're not penetrating into the brain.
Yeah.
And the big question is, why does the brain prevent compounds to enter this organ?
Yeah.
And in order to treat diseases, the big question is, how can we change the structure of molecules? Or how can we use specific technologies to transport drugs into the brain?
Yeah.
How can we overcome this barrier, a cellular barrier such as the blood-brain barrier?
Yeah. So, as you have already mentioned that there is a blood-brain barrier. While developing the drugs, what are the biggest difficulties you would have faced or your team would have faced in this blood-brain barrier while developing a drug? How would you say, just in case if I have a team and we are developing a drug, so in development of that drug, what would be the biggest difficulties so that drug can actually cross that blood-brain barrier?
Mm-hmm. Drugs have to be designed in a way that they can penetrate into the brain. They have to have very special properties. They have to be very small.
Yeah.
And they have to be lipophilic. That means they should have a property which makes that they can penetrate across cellular barriers.
Yeah.
And this is a big challenge, to design molecules which on one hand can be taken up into the brain,
Yeah.
and on the other hand which have a very specific activity in the brain. So very often you have excellent compounds which are very active, but they're not going to the brain.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you have very nice compounds which go into the brain, but they're not active.
Yeah.
And to bring these two things together, this is the biggest challenge.
Right. As we have already mentioned that all of this we are working on a very smaller level. So what do you think the fields of nanotechnology and AI, as we are already moving into an era which is completely filled with artificial intelligence, how can they be helpful in building those drugs and in the pharmaceutical industries?
We are now seeing a revolution in respect to the design of new drugs with the advent of artificial intelligence. And there will be new possibilities to simulate how compounds distribute in our body and how they interact with targets in the body using these artificial intelligence technologies. So I think these simulation technologies, artificial intelligence, will allow us to become faster and to bring drugs faster to the market. You have mentioned nanotechnology. This is also a very recent technology, a very interesting technology. And actually in my research I'm using a lot of these nanotechnologies.
All right.
So, for example, in pharmaceutical technology, we are designing small capsules which can be filled with drug of interest and which then can be injected, and if they are well designed, they can penetrate into the brain.
So, just a random question. That small capsules, what would be their approximate size?
This is a nanocapsule,
They are
nanobody.
They are not visible with the naked eye.
No. They have a size of about 100 nanometers, and this is the size of a virus.
Yeah.
I will give you an example. If you take a human hair, this has a diameter of about 100 micrometers. 10 times smaller, 10 micrometer, is the approximate size of a cell in our human body.
Yeah.
10 times smaller is 1 micrometer, and this is the size of a bacterium. 1 micrometer. And if you again make it 10 times smaller, then you have the size of a virus. And the virus has approximately the same size as our nanoparticles.
All right.
So this is 100 nanometer.
So it itself is fascinating, to be honest.
Yes, it's very, very, very small. But since they are so small, they can be injected and we can use specific technologies to direct them to diseased organs. For example, to the brain or to cancer cells, diseased cells in our body.
So it clearly means that medicine is currently developing in a manner that we can now at least say proudly that those diseases which are not yet curable, we can have their cures in the recent future.
Yes, and you see, this is exactly my motivation. This is why we're doing research, because we would like to find new ways to treat patients, to fight disease. And pharmacy for me is a very interesting discipline, because we can do research in this field, and if we do translational research, we can help patients which are suffering from diseases which cannot be cured at present, but for which perhaps we will have solutions in the future.
Yeah. If I am not wrong, you have 13 patents. So if I have got the privilege to ask. So what is that one which you are very proud of?
I have one patent which I'm very proud of. This dates back to a very interesting collaboration with medical doctors in the Children's Hospital in Basel. In Basel. And these doctors came to us and they told us that they have a big problem. It is very difficult to administer drugs to small children in the hospital. If you have a small sister or a small brother, you know that it is very difficult to give to them drugs.
Yeah.
If you give them a tablet, they will just spit it out.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
And so we very often have very nice drugs, but we cannot give it to the children.
Yeah.
They don't like it. And in addition, these drugs are developed for adults, not for children. They have the wrong dose.
Yes.
So you have to manipulate them, you have to crush them, to cut them, to make them small, and to find tricks on how to give it to the children. And this is very difficult for the medical doctors.
Yeah.
So I have a patent where I'm very proud of. This is a new pharmaceutical excipient. And this is a small microcapsule. So it's bigger than the nanocapsule I just mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger. It has the size of a human cell.
All right.
And we can put drugs into this small container, in this small capsule, and we can make tablets out of these capsules. And these tablets we can give to children, and when they're coming in contact with saliva, with liquid, then they immediately melt and you do not have to swallow them.
All right.
And children just like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do not have to swallow.
Because swallowing is one of the difficulty when we are administering the drug to children.
Also for us.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't like to swallow tablets.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking perhaps of your grandparents,
Yeah.
they don't like to swallow tablets. And also if you're suffering from certain diseases, you don't like to swallow. And here we have a very nice patent and a new drug formulation which makes it possible to give drugs orally to patients and they do not have to swallow it. You just give it to the mouth, it melts, disappears, and the small children, they just like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we have already mentioned that this was working in the Basel, if I'm not wrong. Also, you have worked in Hoffmann La Roche, I guess. I hope I'm not pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
So how was your experience working in the pharmaceutical industries, and how would you say that they have evolved as compared to the other world? Specifically, talking about the Kyrgyzstan, how much their pharmaceutical industry have evolved, and what are the improvements which should be taken to improve the pharmaceutical industry here in Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah. To answer this question, we have to look back to the history of the pharmaceutical industry in Basel.
Yeah.
Initially, this industry was a chemical industry. And they produced large amounts of chemicals for technical applications. Now in Switzerland we have a problem. We're a very small country. We have very little natural resources.
Yeah.
It's like Kyrgyzstan, a country with a lot of big mountains.
Yeah.
We have a lot of water, but we have no coal, we have no oil, we have nothing. We have just snow and water. And next to us is big Germany.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have a lot of
Resources.
workforce. They have a lot of natural resources.
Yeah.
And they're very powerful. And they could produce chemicals in large quantity at much cheaper prices than we could do it in Switzerland.
Yeah.
So in Switzerland they had a problem. So they said, we have to specialize. We have to go away from big chemistry to small chemistry. We go to specialized chemistry. We produce drugs. And they started to produce chemicals, small molecules, which can be used as drugs. So you need smaller quantities,
Yeah.
less natural resources.
Yeah.
You need more brain power,
Yeah.
but less natural resources.
Yeah.
And you can ask for higher prices. The return of investment is higher.
Yeah.
And so they moved from big chemistry to small drug molecules to medicines. Now in our days we again confronted with a big problem. We have countries such as, for example, India, which did build up a very powerful and strong industry to produce drugs at low cost.
Yeah.
India is a very powerful country. It's a very big country.
Yeah.
And they can produce much cheaper than Switzerland. What should we do?
Yeah.
We have to move forward. And the move forward was to biotechnology.
Yeah.
So monoclonal antibodies, specific drug delivery system to treat cancer. Again, less natural resources and much higher prices for a very advanced product with a very high return of investment.
So
And you see, it's always a competition.
yeah.
You need to make one step and the other one makes another step.
Yeah.
And then you have to move forward again and you have to become smarter
Yeah.
and you have to fight to find your place, especially if you're a small country.
So the question, obviously, if you are a bigger country, like in India, you have more natural resources, you have more human force. So just in case, as we have mentioned, that Switzerland took a step towards the biotechnology. Just in case India is also taking the step towards the biotechnology. So it means Switzerland will have to take another step forward. Then they will have to make another step forward. So this international competition will keep on going.
Yes, and we have experienced this change. The next change, the generation of drugs, are cell-based therapies. So these are living cells which were introduced into the human body. And I guess this is then the next step in this race.
Yeah. And obviously, as we are already mentioning the development which should be taken by other countries and we are talking about the international experiences, you have also experience of working in US. So keeping in a comparison of pharmaceutical industry in US, in Switzerland, in Kyrgyzstan, what are the differences actually and what are the improvement? As, if I'm not wrong, US industry is also one of the biggest competitors.
There are little differences. If you would like to bring a drug to the market, you have to convince regulatory authorities that it is safe and that it does what it's supposed to do, that it can really treat a disease. And you have to prove that it works. And we have special regulatory authorities, such as the FDA in the United States,
Yeah.
or EMEA in Europe,
Yeah.
or in Switzerland it's Swissmedic. And they are all working according to the same standards. And therefore it's possible to sell drugs from Switzerland in the United States or to import drugs from the United States to Europe. They're all working according to the same standards. So to answer your question, I think there is, with this respect, little difference between the industries.
All right.
And for Kyrgyzstan, if companies would like to produce drugs for export, they should adhere to these standards, and then it will be compliant with the standards we have in other countries, and then you can freely exchange drugs.
As you're already here, so taking the benefit of that, I would ask, there are a lot of students in Kyrgyz State Medical Academy, those who are interested in pursuing their career as in pharmaceutical sciences. So what will be your advice which you would like to give them, obviously after all that bunch of experience?
Mhm. I told you that we have in Switzerland no natural resources, but we have a very important resource, the most important resource of our country, and these are well-educated people.
Yeah.
And these are our students.
Yeah.
This is the next generation of scientists, and is our capital. This is our natural resource. It lies in their hands to push forward science and to further develop pharmaceutical science and to research to develop new drugs. So our hope and the most important capital we have are our students.
All right. So, just keeping few things in mind about the Kyrgyzstan, there were some recent news that Kyrgyzstan ran short on 300 to 400 drugs, and then they would ultimately have to import those drugs. So, we have already talked about the drug delivery, etc. So, first of all, what would be your suggestion? Because if I am not wrong, we have mentioned all the things about pharmaceutical industries. There should be some parameters which should be taken at the government level. I mean, there should have been more pharmaceutical industries to be built so that they can improve the production of drugs, etc. So, what would you say after having your experience in Switzerland and US, obviously, that what should Kyrgyzstan do to manage the number of, so that they can import less and they can produce more?
Mhm. Drug shortage is a very important problem, and we've also experienced this during the COVID times.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that countries are in a position to produce their own drugs for their own population.
Yeah.
And in Kyrgyzstan, we have this potential to produce drugs for the Kyrgyz population. As I said, we have very well educated academics
Yeah.
and students, and we should invest in generics and find ways to produce generics here in Kyrgyzstan and to put them here on the Kyrgyz market for the benefit of the Kyrgyz population. And actually we have, I was told here, and I'm consulting on a project of the KMMA. So this academy would like to install a laboratory or institute for bioequivalence. And these bioequivalence research or studies are necessary for the development of generics.
Yeah.
And the World Bank apparently has given a credit, and with the help of the Kyrgyz government it will be possible to establish such an institute. And to my feeling, this is a very important investment, so that we can start to produce generics here in Kyrgyzstan.
All right. Obviously, there should be some steps taken to improve the industry. Coming towards the end of the podcast, what would you say that future of the pharmaceutical industries is? Where are they heading up to? And obviously, there is one specific thing. It is a debate. It is not obviously debate related to pharmaceutical industries, but that debate is the influence of artificial intelligence. I mean, just take it as an example. If there is a human team, they are preparing a drug. they are held responsible for that, for the goods and for the bads. For at the same time, if we will keep that artificial intelligence, who will be held accountable for all the errors which would be done after the influence of artificial intelligence. So the question will be in the two parts. First of all, the future of pharmaceutical industries, and second, influence of artificial intelligence.
Mhm. So the future of the pharmaceutical industry or pharmaceutical sciences, this is the move from the small molecules to the biomolecules to cell-based therapies to gene therapy.
Yeah,
For me, this is the path forward
yeah,
to the exploration or development of new technologies. With respect to artificial intelligence, in research, it's always the human being
yeah,
who is responsible and who does it and who has the brain to do it and the power to do it. Artificial intelligence is just a tool. It's just like a computer. It's just a tool like a cell phone. It's just here to help you.
yeah,
But we have to make a good use of this tool. So you could say that if you're using a computer for your work, it's your work, your responsibility, and the computer just helps you. The computer in itself is stupid. Artificial intelligence is the same. Artificial intelligence is not innovative. It cannot invent new things. It can just help
yeah.
to make existing things a little bit better. It's just a tool like a computer.
Yeah, but obviously there is a debate of the whole different segment of the world that they are saying that artificial intelligence itself, maybe in future they might have a conscious, or maybe they will have a will to do something, because artificial intelligence, for this moment we can say that they are working as in computers, but in actual what we are saying is that it is some sort of an intelligence. They can do things on their own. So that debate will remain, and obviously we will have to find this answer as well. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And at the end, obviously, there is quick question answer session. I would like to ask you a short little advice. Would you like to give to our audience?
Your audience, these are the students of KMMA.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like to congratulate them that they are diligent, hardworking. As I told our students, I told you, this is our capital.
Yeah.
We are counting on them. We are needing on them. And my advice is learn hard. Make something out of your life. Strive to be the best. And then you will succeed.
All right. What book would you say that inspired you and that will remain the best book you have ever read?
The best book I've ever read. I very much love the books of Dostoevsky. And I have read them in my childhood a lot. And I only had the translation in German. And so it was always my dream to learn Russian and to read them in Russian. And so this was my motivation to learn Russian. And so the next steps in my career, or what I would like to do next, or my ambition is to learn a little bit better Russian language.
All right. If you would have to define your life and your life experience in one line, what line would it be?
My life experience?
Yeah, you have to define in one line, one sentence. What sentence would it be?
You should do in your life things which make you happy. You are not living for money.
Yeah.
You are living to make your dreams become true.
All right. As you are one of our international guests, how much is it important, the international relations, and what's that the countries should do to reduce their in-between conflicts?
What I very much like in science is that there are no
No
borders.
boundaries. Yeah.
No boundaries. I am coming from Switzerland. I'm meeting here friends in Kyrgyzstan. And within minutes, we just can speak together and we understand each other and there are no barriers.
Yeah.
And we share the same passion.
Yeah.
And before we started the podcast, I had the pleasure to discuss with you.
Yeah.
And you're coming again from another country, from Pakistan,
Yeah.
I learned. And it was very easy to speak together because we share the same passion.
Yeah.
And this is what I like very much in science, that there are just no borders, that we all work together and share a common passion.
Okay. At the last, how is your experience going in Kyrgyzstan and specifically Kyrgyz State Medical Academy?
I very much appreciate the hospitality here of the Kyrgyz people. That's really exceptional. I had the pleasure to be during Nowruz in a small village in the mountains. So I could celebrate Nowruz with the
Alright.
local population. And we could watch the horse games. This was really fascinating for me. And we enjoyed delicious food. So we had a baran, very nice meat. And with the horse we went to the mountains. And I very much like the Kyrgyz mountains because we have similar mountains in Switzerland. So I'm really feeling at home here.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for being on the set. Thank you so much for giving your time. Thank you so much for visiting Kyrgyzstan. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.